guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another vegan video. I really feel like on this channel I haven't done enough vegan videos, and one of the things that really drove me to start my YouTube channel was to promote the vegan message, because I think a really important part of being a vegan is to spread the vegan message. So what I thought I would do today, so that some of you who are also vegan and those of you who might be interested in going vegan yourselves who aren't already, I thought I would do the vegan tag. First question. Well, yes I am. I became vegan in June of 2013. I was pescatarian before that. I became pescatarian in late 2007, and then on and off for many years I became vegetarian. I went vegan for a whole day once, which I'll get into more of it later, but I jumped back on the wagon and that's the main thing. I became a vegan because first and foremost, I really love animals, and all throughout my life I really struggled with the idea of eating animals and feeling a really deep connection with them. I always had pets growing up, and then I would think, but I'm eating animals, like how can I do that? It was such a disconnect for me, which is why I initially went pescatarian, which looking back on it makes no sense, because like seafood is animals too. Seafood, I hate that word so much, but marine life are also animals. So anyway, you know, it took some time to kind of get there, but it wasn't until 2013 that I went the whole way, and that was because I was studying at university. I was doing my honours year, and one of the subjects we were doing a topic that week called Animal Voice in Film, and it was all about whether or not animals get a real voice in film, whether it's a voice that should be heard in film, and whether that voice is actually their voice or whether they're being personified by humans. So I found that really interesting, and we watched a film called Project Nim, which, you know, it's not Earthlings or anything, but for me it was really the attitude of the humans in that film that made me go vegan, rather than witnessing animal cruelty. It was this kind of blasé attitude that the monkey Nim, or the chimpanzee, suddenly was of no value to them, despite the fact that they'd raised him like a human child. They just sold him without a thought to cosmetic testing and medical testing, and just stopped caring about him. And I thought, wow, it is that huge disconnect that we have between ourselves and the animal kingdom that is the really big problem. And I just decided I didn't want to be a part of that. And the main thing that made me realize I needed to be vegan instead of just say vegetarian is that it hadn't really occurred to me, with all the medication I've taken in my life and the makeup I use and the products I use around the house, that those things had voiceless animals behind them that were being tested and treated really terribly, and I wasn't even giving them another thought. And so I thought it was really important for me to go vegan and to kind of bear witness to what was happening to animals behind the scenes. So that's why I went vegan. You know, I'm going to go back to that first time where I mentioned I went vegan for a day, and the hardest part for me, I think, was initially when I went vegan, I didn't know anybody else that was vegan. I am, and I was celiac. I wasn't even particularly good at feeding myself generally. I didn't know an awful lot about nutrition at that point, and I wouldn't say I had a very good diet. I mean, I ate fruits and vegetables. When I say good diet, I just mean I don't think I was really paying attention to whether or not I got a good range of nutrients, even though I was eating, you know, healthy foods in terms of grains and fruit and vegetables, but I wasn't checking that I had a balance of the right combinations and things like that, which I think is really quite important anyway, and is definitely very important as a vegan. So I struggled with that in terms of finding what I could eat, because I found that at that point in time, if something was gluten-free, it wasn't vegan, and if it was vegan, it wasn't gluten-free. And I was working long hours in retail, and I really struggled to find something on my lunch break, and I didn't pick a day where I wasn't working to go vegan. I picked a day where I was working very long hours, and then I just tried to be vegan on my lunch break in 30 minutes, and I was a horrible failure. I did end up buying something vegan for lunch, like I think I got a really rubbish salad from Subway or something. It definitely wasn't filling or satisfying. And then a co-worker who had a vegan girlfriend started talking to me, and he's like, oh, have you thrown away all your shoes and your belts, and have you done this, and have you changed over your cosmetics? And I was like, no. And he's like, well, then you're not really vegan. And I don't think he meant any harm. I think he was actually trying to be helpful, but it just really made me feel like a failure, and like I'd gone about it all the wrong way, and that other people who were vegan would think I was terrible, and if I wasn't going to do it the right way, then I wasn't allowed to be vegan. So I just gave up, which is really silly. But but that's what I did. So my recommendation with going vegan is, and this is what I did the second time around in 2013, is to really do your research first. I read up a lot about nutrition. I got a whole bunch of books. I found Alicia Silverstone's The Kind Diet really helped me because she's quite a compassionate and welcoming vegan. She admits that people make mistakes and things. And I know lots of people out there say, you know, it's not acceptable to go back and eat things. And I'm not suggesting that you should do that. I'm just saying that if you do accidentally, or if you slip and one day you wake up and you're like, oh, I'm craving cheese or chocolate or whatever so badly, and you go and do it the way that people do with cigarettes or whatever else, or alcohol or whatever it is you're trying to abstain from, that doesn't mean that you don't get to be a vegan anymore. And I think what the Kind Diet showed me, or what Alicia Silverstone kind of showed me through her words, is that being vegan isn't about being perfect. It's about trying to make a change in your life and trying to live it as compassionately as you can. Everybody out there is going to be vegan to a different extent, I guess. Just try and do the best that you can. And that really helped me in my second journey into veganism. And just surrounding myself with vegans, like joining forums on Facebook, watching YouTube videos, chatting to people. You've got Vegan Amino now. There's so many ways you can connect with other vegans. And I think that's really important, because having support is wonderful when you first tell people you go vegan, because you get an awful lot of backlash. People, I don't think, mean to be cruel, but my family was very worried when I went vegan, and I received a lot of criticism from friends. I was the brunt of every joke in social situations with friends who weren't vegan, which, you know, they thought was very funny. But when you first go vegan, you tend to be really upset and quite angry about what's happening to animals. And I think you're much more sensitive during that period. So having people joke about that really isn't funny to you. So I think having some sort of support network around you from other vegans is really important. So maybe that kind of comes under answering what's the hardest part about becoming vegan. Just depends on how you go about it. Make sure you've got support around you. No, I would have to say no. I mean, I'm sure I could think of ways in which it is difficult. I mean, if I want to buy certain things like specialty items, if I want to have mock cheeses and mock meats and things in certain places of the world, like I lived in France for a while, it was quite difficult to get those things there. But in reality, vegan food is very readily available. Rice, grains, nuts, fruit, vegetables. It's pretty easy, guys. It's actually not that hard. Just know your nutrition, make sure that you're getting everything that you need. But no, it's not hard. And you can live without those things that you think you desperately need. And hey, per convenience, guys. If you live in Melbourne, you ain't got no excuse. I've gotten better at making sure I don't slip or accidentally buy things that aren't vegan the longer I've been vegan, because it's been a while now. But some things, it comes down to doing the best that you possibly can. And I said this before, that we're going to be on a sliding scale of how vegan we are, because it is literally impossible to be perfect. You can't exist in the world and be 100% vegan. So the main thing is to do the best that you can. I'm someone that gets sick quite a lot. I don't have a good immune system, and I do have to take medication a lot. But when I can, I buy the vegan version. So pharmaceuticals, unfortunately, are almost always tested on animals, and I think we just need to keep voicing the fact that we don't think that that should be the way that they're tested. But when it comes to, say, vitamins, I take vitamin D, I take B12, all of these things you can purchase on vegan items. They are a little bit more expensive, but I'm willing to spend the extra money on them. I know not everyone is necessarily in that financial position, but my point is, do the best that you can. So whenever possible, I try to buy vegan items or cruelty-free items. And that's a difficult one. I'm talking about cruelty-free to animals because then there's a whole separate argument about sustainable and ethical purchasing as well. And I guess you have to pick which battles you're going to join in on and where you draw the line for yourself, because I guess, unfortunately, the more ethical you get, the more expensive things get, and not everyone has the budget for that. So that's a whole kind of different conversation. The other thing is that, I mean, I still own non-vegan items in terms of leather products that I used to have before I went vegan. I don't think I have any makeup left that isn't vegan, makeup and hair products. I think I've used them all, and I now only purchase vegan items when I buy new. I still struggle with whether or not I should buy secondhand items. I have, whilst being vegan, bought leather products and wool products that are secondhand from the op shop, because I don't have the budget to be buying new clothes all the time, especially seeing as I keep changing countries, and I've gone from Australia, where winter is like a European autumn, to winter in Europe, where it was friggin' freezing, and my budget either allowed me to buy new cheap clothing. Generally, if you're buying fast fashion, it's not ethical. And then my other option was to buy secondhand products, and I felt that for the large part, if I could get my hands on appropriate secondhand products, that was the more ethical thing to do. I'm not encouraging new animals to die in the process of making things. The animal will go to waste if someone doesn't buy those things. So there's that. But then there's the flip side of, if I am wearing woolen items and leather items, am I encouraging people to buy products new because they don't know I'm wearing secondhand? It's a very complicated argument. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. I still am not really sure how I sit on that, but I'm very open to discussion on that. I judge it by the situation, actually. I was going to say I always try to have a conversation with them about it, but sometimes I feel like people are just trying to antagonize you and make you look like an idiot. If someone is legitimately asking me about veganism and wants to know genuinely, whether it's just because they want to know about me as a person, or it might be that they actually want advice from me about going vegan, and both things have happened quite a lot. And in that case, I will talk to you for as long as you want. I will send you links. I will lend you books. I will do anything. If I think you're just being a dick and you're trying to antagonize me and make me look like an idiot, I basically just don't engage in the conversation, because I don't want to talk to those people in general, let alone have a conversation where I'm going to get angry and upset and probably not even help the vegan cause, because they don't want to hear it. And also because if I get angry and upset, they kind of win, because then I become one of those angry, irrational vegans, and I don't want to do that either, because I don't think it gets us anywhere. That's me personally. Yes, I do, to the degree that I think everyone is at a different point along their journey. As I said, I was pescatarian and vegetarian for a long time, on and off, and meat eating again in between before I became vegan. And I think that just because someone is vegetarian or pescatarian or even an omnivore now doesn't mean that they can't go vegan in the future. And I think we need to do everything we can to be supportive of people, to encourage them to continue along their journey and eventually become vegan. And I don't think that being mean or antagonistic or unsupportive of people is going to make them go vegan. You do things by setting an example and showing kindness, not by being cruel or uninviting or excluding people. So I guess, yes. There are so many things that I love as vegan specialty items. So vegan cheese, vegan ice cream, mock meats, to foodie range. My favorite vegan ice cream is by far the So Delicious range from America. It is not healthy. I don't care. I do like vegan cheeses, provided they're good. I mean, some specialty items are really gross, but there are some really great ones. I'm really into the Buddhist mock meats, so like the chicken popper kind of things. They're kind of like chicken nuggets, I suppose. And the ones that are made from shiitake mushroom that are kind of like lamb strips. They taste kind of like the satay sticks at Chinese restaurants, that kind of chewy, beefy meat. There's like a mock Buddhist meat version of that, and that's really good. Yeah, I like a lot of alternatives. I guess that's because some people ask the question of, like, if you don't want to eat animals, why would you want to eat a mock version of them? Like, if you're vegan, you're vegan. I'm not gonna lie, before I went vegan, when I was a little girl, people would ask me what my favorite food is, and I would say steak and meat. The idea now that I'm vegan, I can't walk through the QVM, the meat section of QVM, it makes me want to gag. And the idea of eating meat is really gross to me, but I used to love eating it, and I do miss eating things like ice cream and cheese and stuff like that. So if there is an alternative, I'm gonna eat it. Simple as that. I think palm oil is very bad, and I do my very best not to buy anything with palm oil in it. And sometimes I buy things that are accidentally vegan, like when I was in France I was buying like Oreos and things, and I just forgot to look at the ingredients, because when someone tells me something's vegan, I assume that it doesn't have things like palm oil in it. But sometimes things are vegan, but they are filled with palm oil, and to me, that's not vegan. And I don't really know about this whole sustainable palm oil thing. I don't really know whether that's a thing or that's kind of like saying humane meat. I would love to know more about that. I can do my own research, of course, but if anyone out there would like to share their knowledge on the sustainable palm oil issue, I'd be really interested. Actually, yes, I do. I hate to say that because I want to be inclusive and supportive and I don't want to be negative towards the vegan community, but yes, I have felt judged and been quite ashamed of the behaviour of other vegans at times. I used to be on a Facebook group. I won't name it. It might not necessarily be like that anymore, but I'm not part of the group now. But there was some new, it was for vegans, and there was some new members who were putting up questions like, oh, why don't you guys eat eggs, or why don't you eat honey? I can't understand why it's not vegan. And these people were asking genuine questions. They weren't being antagonistic. They weren't meat eaters who were trolling us. They were just new vegans or new vegetarians who were asking questions and wanted support. And the kind of main and long-standing members of the group got very nasty and told them that they were hypocritical and they weren't vegans and that they didn't want people like that in this group, and that they were really, really horrible to them. And myself and many other people in the group, it was a big long thread with lots of people arguing on it. Quite a number of us tried to stand up and say, you know, veganism is about trying to spread the message and be inclusive and encourage people to go vegan, not to out people or be nasty to people, and we don't really see how this is beneficial to the cause. And it got so heated and nasty that myself and a large group of other people left the group because we just didn't want to be part of that and didn't see how that supported veganism or was a positive message in any way. I just saw that as cyberbullying, and I was very ashamed that that was the case. So my way of dealing with it is to just try and set an example, remind people who are vegan, who are perhaps caught up in the emotions that come with caring about animals, and kind of the horror and shock that comes with finding out what's happening to them and wanting to stand up for them. Sometimes I think you can get lost, and I've been guilty of this too. I was kind of a ranty vegan when I first became vegan because I felt like I had been tricked into consuming animal products, particularly when it came to, you know, cruelty-free or free-range processes where I was deliberately trying to do the best that I could, and I discovered that that was just a marketing ploy. It made me very upset and angry. And so I think I try to just encourage any vegans who are behaving like that just to be compassionate and remember that we all started off, I mean, unless you were born into a vegan family and raised vegan, you probably were a meat eater at some point. And just to, you know, remember that and try and encourage rather than chastise. I do indeed. It makes me feel very healthy. I've had a lot of benefits, such as I used to have a lot of fluctuating weight loss and weight gain, and that's really petered out and evened out for me. My skin is better, I have more energy, I'm a lot more aware of what I eat, and I'm a lot healthier as a result of being vegan because I pay a lot more attention to my diet and I know about what I'm putting in my body now. And I tend to go and get checkups at the doctor and stuff more, mostly because the doctors worry about me because I'm vegan, but actually usually my results are fabulous. So yeah, it has many benefits, and there's a wonderful community. And this kind of questioned me about angry vegans a little bit, so I've talked a lot about that, but actually the vegan community is really amazing. I've met some genuinely wonderful and fascinating people since becoming vegan, and it's opened me up to other walks of life and many other foods that I otherwise would not have tried. So yes, I enjoy it very much. Thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any further questions of me or you want to share your own vegan stories with me, please do. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below and click that little bell if you want to get notified of when I put videos up, because apparently you don't get notified if you don't click the bell. And don't forget to follow me on social media, guys. I have an Instagram, I have a Facebook. I am at Miss B Town on everything, and on Facebook I am Miss B Townsend. So you can find me in all of those places. If you want to see me perform, do follow me on Facebook, because that is where I put all of my info. I am going to be moving to London, so I will be performing in the UK. I may be performing in the not too distant future in France, and whenever I visit Australia, I always perform as well, so you can see me doing my thing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!